like to be free, but that's why I'm anti-capitalist.
Well, maybe you ought to
That
move
is
to
why
North
I'm
Korea
anti-capitalist,
or
because
Cuba or
capitalism
Venezuela.
removes that choice. There is no real incentive of capitalism because the incentive is survival. When you get into communism, the incentive is for the common good.
I love that. I got an offer for you before we move on. If I were to give you your $2,350, which is the cost to renunciate your citizenship, and I paid you your first class, flight to whatever communist country, and $20,000 to spend the money.
Communist country.
Would you give up your citizenship to go to that country? Whichever communist country you want to go to.
Yeah,
Cuba, we can give you Venezuela, we give you North Korea, any one of those you want to go to. Choose any one of them, I'll give you one-way ticket, and I'll fund it for you if you want to.
What's going on, everyone? Stocks with Kenny here today. I figured, I want to give the new stuff a little break. I kind of want to talk about ideas for now. I saw an interesting video. Patrick Bet-David did one capitalist versus 20 anti-capitalists, right? And I saw from the intro, you got a little snippet on some of the claims, oh, there's no communist country that exists. And I kind of want to go through this idea that a lot of these people, they have a very fixed mentality, right? There's the, it's a business thing, right? There's opportunity cost, there's fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And if you're a type of person that believes in socialism, you tend to fall under fixed mindset. You believe that everything's predetermined, that there's winners and losers from birth, right? You can do nothing to change the situation. And this is why victimhood follows a lot of people who believe in socialism, or they try to, pawn off responsibility to some external factor, right? This is why a lot of black liberals, they love to use racism as an alibi, because these people believe that they have no choice in the matter, that their choices doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do, what actions and decisions they do. They were destined to be poor. And the only way they can change their destiny is if some external system like the government or some socialist messiah comes around and delivers everyone from this corrupt system of capitalism. And I believe that's a load of crud, actually. To me, socialism is slavery. You want to pigeonhole me. You want to dictate what I'm allowed to do and not allowed to do, right? You believe that for me, if I make a certain amount of money, that's too much money for me. Who are you to decide that? Who are you to put a ceiling under what I'm capable of doing? And this is some of the things that a lot of socialists don't seem to understand, is that they have a collectivist thinking because they believe they cannot win on their own. Socialist motivation, in my view, their incentive is they want to change the rules of the game. They don't like the way that the current game is played. They believe that they can't win at this current game, so they want to change the game to something else. And this is the core of their beliefs, in my honest opinion. But before I go into the video more, I know Jubilee probably is going to copyright my stuff. I hope they don't, but if they do, it doesn't matter. I just want to have the viewership, and I just want to give some commentary here. I want to put up this clip that kind of epitomizes the mentality of a person or individual that tends to hate capitalism. Let's take a look.
I changed. So can you. Look at the way you're speaking to me.
You can change, you can work hard, but
do you know somebody like you? Do you know somebody like you that speaks this eloquently? If somebody gets a hold of you in real estate, insurance, finance, you can learn how to sell, and you can make some real good money. Somebody like you that I'm watching.
Not everybody's born with those abilities. You have to be,
brother.
Like, somebody who's white, tall, 6'4", whatever. They're
I'm
much
Middle
more
Eastern. I'm from Iran. Do you realize a lot of stuff that goes against me?
Okay, but many people have no choice to
but that's an excuse language to be making. That's
just reeks of victimhood, huh? Oh, I can't do nothing except from birth. Oh, I was born lazy. It was a genetic disposition. Nah, you choose to be. You believe that your comfort is better than your ambition, right? This is one thing that I think I despise. I despise someone who is lazy and ambitious. You believe that you could do anything you want, but you're not willing to do it, right? That's the reality. You are analysis paralysis. You're chasing perfection when in reality, progress is the only way you really get better. You want to study, like, think about it. This man says, oh, my outcomes are set in stone. Instead of focusing his energy, like he focuses energy on excuses than solutions. He focuses energy on excuses than effort. He ain't tried nothing. He just found something, and you see all the energy he was wasting trying to make justifications for why it's lost. The game is rigged. He shouldn't. The reason why I'm so anti-socialist is I tie it one-to-one to victimhood mentality. Because as you can tell from the color of my skin, I've dealt with people just like this guy, except black. Oh, you're black. There's no way you can do this. There's no way you can do Y. There's no way you can do this because you come from this. You're doing this. The system is against you. I had numerous amount of people in growing up in my personal life try to tell me that I couldn't be successful. I couldn't do what I can in this life because of the color of my skin. And I told them, screw you. May not be to their face, but quietly I said, screw you. Oh, you're trying to be white. You're trying to be this. These same self-doubters, they're still at the hood where I left them at. Look, now I have my beautiful family, my 2 kids, right? Successful career to my own regards, because I didn't let someone else color my perception and make me believe that I can't do something. Because there's a quote I live by, and then we'll go into the video. A man who believes he can and a man who believes he can't are both usually right. Because at the end of the day, what's the thing they have in common? They decided to do something about it or not to do something about it. Because remember, doing nothing is still making a decision. But I digress. Let's get into this first prompt, and I think this is the only prompt I want to go over. Incentives. Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome. And I think socialism have bad incentives, and this is why they tend to give bad outcomes. But I digress. Let's get into the clip.
My first claim is incentive is the engine of capitalism. Remove it, and the system fails.
Hey, great to meet you, Patrick.
What's your name?
My name's Mason.
Mason, good to meet you.
Yeah. I'm value-tained. I'm a big fan of the channel.
Are you
so,
really?
Yeah, I do watch it quite regularly.
Very cool.
I do not agree with your claim. I don't think that incentives are only born out of capitalism.
Okay.
Most capitalist defenders say that incentive is because of scarcity, and people's ability to get what is necessary pushes them to work harder. I disagree with that. I'd say that some of our hardest...
I think, to me, this is an imagination of his, right? I think he's misframing capitalism, right? I think he's pretending to understand what capitalism is, because at the end of the day, we all ain't gonna get it right. But to me, capitalism is the only system that properly uses people's human nature towards a goal where the game is, how can I provide value? Or can I get someone to give me $1? Can someone value what I'm giving them to put money behind it? That's capitalism. The incentive is, how can you bring value to another individual where they'll be willing to part with money, resources, currency? They're willing to trade for what you got. But what about socialism? Socialism is an incentive built on force, right? If you don't pay taxes, you go to jail, essentially putting a gun to your head to pay someone else. Hey, I want you to do certain this. I want you to do certain that. And the problem with socialism is, what if the person in charge is making bad decisions and bad choices? What consequences does he face? Almost zero. But if a capitalist makes mistakes, oh, you put out a bad product, a bad service, what's the consequences? Is it instant consequences? You lose customers. Your reputation takes a hit, which will make it harder for you to do business in the future. You go out of business if you make bad decisions. So the incentives of capitalism actually push people to make good decisions. That's why capitalist countries tend to do better than socialist countries, provide better standards of living compared to socialist countries. If you see poverty in a socialist country, it's worse than poverty in a capitalist country. And that's the game. That's the argument that I make about incentives. And the incentives of capitalism is, it works with human nature, while socialism tries to fight against human nature. That's all I'm trying to say. But I digress. Let's get back into the discussion.
Workers are single moms working 3 to 4 jobs, and the resources that they're able to acquire compared to those that utilize their workers in order to build profit for their own companies is not equivocal.
So how would you do it? How would you change it?
Yeah, so I think that humans inherently want to be meaningful. They want to contribute to their communities. They want to contribute to society. When you look at depression rates, oftentimes it's people who aren't able to do anything besides laying in their bed and basically barely taking care of themselves. So I think that it's just a human intrinsic value to want to bring value to their community or grander society.
Okay, so
I wanted to pause here, because the way he framed this is why I'm saying this is his imagination talking, right? He frames that the capitalist is taking advantage of the workers. You get what you negotiate. You don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate. So the workers found whatever they're doing. Okay, me and you agree on something. We make an agreement for you to do this. Hey, if you give me wheat, I give you milk. And that was a fair deal. But because I have disproportionately more wheat, then he is able to utilize the milk. You can't say that's an unfair trade. He willingly made the trade because it was worth it for him. And this is the game that capitalism plays. Because at the end of the day, you're free to make any decision you want. No one's forcing you to give Jeff Bezos money for Amazon Prime because you made Jeff Bezos a billionaire. Because what he was offering was worth it. And the funny part is a lot of these people who are pro-union and all this stuff, they don't look at the other side of the coin. Your labor won't mean anything. Your labor won't generate money unless you yourself are either self-deployed or a contractor, correct? You're a business. That's how I see myself. I'm a business. I trade my time for money. I'm a business. I have skills. I have services that I provide for a company, and they trade me a salary and benefits for it. That's how I see myself. So if you take this image of that I'm taking here, the workers are trading their skill and their time to help the capitalist with his vision, right? Because he's the man with the plan, essentially, right? He takes on all the risks. Whether the product does good or bad, you still get paid a salary because you don't assume those risks. The capitalist only gets a profit if the product is successful, if the service is profitable. That's the only time a capitalist gets a payout. And because he has disproportional risk, he gets disproportional gain. And this is a fair deal. It's fair because you want safety. You want safety and consistency. Whether the product does good, I was told I need to work on this. I need to fix this. I need to manufacture this. Hey, I manufactured the car you wanted, corporate stakeholder. Oh, the car bombed and you lost profit on the car. Hey, you still got to pay me my salary. They don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. Because at the end of the day, if I take out Jeff Bezos, let's say I had the ability to eliminate someone from history. If I eliminate Jeff Bezos, Amazon is gone. But if I eliminate the workers that helped Jeff Bezos initially get Amazon off the ground, Amazon is likely to still be here. Because of the fact that where the Amazon came from, it came from the idea of the capitalist, the person who used funds to deploy it. And this is one thing that, like, I feel like a lot of socialists or people who are anti-capitalist, they don't really understand capitalism. They have a framing, they have an imagination where they think capitalism is, and that's what they speak out against. And in many forms, in my estimation, that's socialism they're talking about. Crony capitalism is a form of socialism. This hybrid we got going on, that's what they're complaining about. The inefficiencies of doing a hybrid system, chasing two rabbits, that's what they're complaining about, right? But we see the results already when someone goes all full socialist. It becomes a communist country, and then all the people who was pushing it to be more, government needs to be more regulation, more this, more that. All of a sudden, it's not socialism anymore when it fails. And it's the problem with a lot of these self-proclaimed socialists. Because when they advocate for something and they get the results of their theories, of their advocacy, of their policies, they pretend, no, this is not real socialism. It can't be. When reality shows you that your theory is wrong, you must accept that your theory is wrong. And for all metrics, standards of living, poverty, capitalism does it better, not socialism. And all the countries, and I'll end off with my final point with this ranting. All the socialists, they always say Sweden, Denmark, all these other countries, these are socialist countries. And these countries will say, no, we're not socialist countries, we're capitalist countries. And all the countries that we say are socialist countries, the socialist says, no, those are not real socialist countries. Make it make sense. So what that tells me, it tells me that you don't know what you're talking about. You don't even understand how to even execute this vision you have going on. Why should we even trust you with any power? And this is the dilemma that many progressives and socialists are stuck in. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
I don't think that it has to be through scarcity alone that scares people into working, if that makes sense.
I worked for scarcity. I think there's levels to it. You have the survival, folks who work for survival to pay their bills. Some work for status, some work for freedom, and some work for legacy. The folks that work 3 or 5 jobs, to pay their bills and do what they're doing, if the incentive wasn't there, they wouldn't work 3 to 5 jobs. Some of the guys that build a bigger business that solve a lot of problems.
The incentive there is either I die or I work. That's not really a system that rewards merit. That's a system that pushes people into insecure positions.
Not necessarily. In many cases, we put ourselves in situations as well. But when we're talking incentive...
Are you saying that it's an individual failure for these single mothers that are working 3 to 4 jobs?
Hey, I'm going to be tough here. As a product, as someone who came from a single mother household, yes. Because at the end of the day, hey, look, marriage, it didn't work out. You got separated. Hey, ish happens. But is that an excuse to let your kids not be in the best position possible? Did you really maximize every opportunity, every option to maximize your income? Because I know some single moms graduated with a law degree, ended up becoming a lawyer, and their kids are living really well. But many, in my estimation, use that as an excuse or as an alibi. Oh, I'm getting government benefits because I'm a single mom. Oh, I'm incentivized not to work. Oh, I'm pressuring my kids not to go to work because it could mess with my food stamps. Many people take the easy way out. And this is the problem with socialism. This is the problem with government benefits and universal this and that. It almost acts as a sedate, like it almost numbs you to, it almost unmotivates you to work, to actually do the things. You rather be trapped in poverty, comfortable poverty, than uncomfortable success. And this is the incentive that many conservatives point out about the government system. You incentivize people not to go as hard. Oh, I only need to make this amount of money because rent is only $70 because it's subsidized by the government. Oh, if I make more than 20 grand in a year, I'm gonna lose my benefits that's worth objectively a $65K a year salary. What incentives are you putting? And this is the incentive that I highlight a lot. That socialism incentivizes laziness, unproductivity, and then what happens? Your system starts crumbling. Things stop being maintained, and what's the government has to fall back on? Using force. They have to threaten you with violence to get you to work. This is why I associate socialism with slavery. Because how can you get a slave to work at his maximum capacity when he gets no benefit from his own labor? Force, threat of violence. Come on. Let's be real here, socialists. You may have good intentions, but what they say about good intentions, it's a road to hell. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
For some of them, it is.
Interesting.
For some of them, it is.
I'm glad you bite that bullet, because most people are not going to say that it's a moral failure of people that are born into poverty that continue to live out cyclical poverty. Let me explain to you. For somebody like me, I came from the single mother system. My mother was a single mother. You know, we had, you know, my parents got a divorce twice. They married each other. They divorced. They remarried each other, divorced again. I came up, we didn't have a lot of choices. I joined the Army, I got at that system, kind of wanted to see what I was gonna do for myself. Do I stay in the Army? Do I get out of the Army? I started working in sales.
The only thing that separates a rich person and a poor person is choices. This is my honest opinion. You can fight me in the comment section, but that is the truth. Choices. There's many kids that grew up in the same circumstances as me, came from the same hood as me, and the other person made a different choice. Two kids grew up by the same household, and they both had two different results because they made different choices, right? That's how it is. Hey, people they value this skill more than they value that skill. If I don't want to live in poverty, I have to make some compromises. I want to follow my passions. My passion is to be a teacher. Well, do you know teaching don't pay well? I know it doesn't pay well. Okay, deal with the cards. Deal with the consequences of your choices. Don't get mad at the system. Oh, why they don't pay teachers 6 figures? That's not the reality you live in. This is the cards. This is the playing field. Make an appropriate strategy. Live within your means. Oh, I could barely make standard of living. Hey, this is the path you chose. You chose this path. You can't get mad at anyone else but yourself. Hey, maybe you start a teaching business. Maybe you do something else. But end of the day, it's on you to get the outcomes you want, right? And this is something that many people who are not very self-deterministic, they think that everything happens to them, right? And not they make things happen. It's a mentality thing. I honestly believe that. And this is what I'm talking about, culture. Culture influences politics. If you come from this culture where you do this fake empathy like this guy's doing, oh, I care a lot about the single moms. Okay, but how are you going to help them? You don't have an alternative solution to help them. Subsidize their living. We're doing that right now, and look what's happening. Poverty continues. You made these people comfortable in poverty. And it's human nature. Human nature's drive to survive, thrive. But if they're thriving doing, oh, if I just pop out a bunch of kids, you're going to give me more government benefits? You made the incentive stay in poverty. Have kid after kid after kid, and then they get mad. Why? Oh, poor people disproportionately have more kids than rich people. But then these people who are in wealthier circles, they talk about how expensive it is to have a kid. But you see the poorest people in our communities popping out kids. Why? The government is subsidizing that. The government is rewarding those actions and behaviors. And this is the incentive that we're talking about. When it comes to incentives, socialism has bad incentives. inherent in every policy position they put. Universal basic health care. Okay. So healthy people like me have to pay the same because where the money's going to come from? Where the resources going to come from? Money and resources don't come out of nowhere. It has to be refined, harvested, and acted upon, usually by an individual, usually by someone else. Labor. How are you going to pay for that person? How are you going to motivate that person to do that, what's in the best interest of everyone else at the expense of himself? Humans are not naturally altruistic. And I think that's the miscalculation many socialists are making, many anti-capitalists are making. But, I digress. I don't want to, continue spieling on the video. I wanted to keep this a short one. I know Jubilee probably is going to copyright me for using 2 minutes of their clips. Insanity. When this is most of the videos me rambling. But hey, that's how it goes nowadays in these YouTube streets. Let me know your thoughts and perspective on this. Do you understand the sentiments of the anti-capitalist? Are you a capitalist? Let me know your thoughts and perspective about this whole debate and about incentives. Because I think that's the core fundamental issue here is what incentives do your philosophy push? Does it push people to be their most productive or their least productive? Does it push people to be taken advantage of or to be respected, right? Because, a lot of these anti-capitalists, they all talk about how capitalism isn't based on merit, but it is, right? If I came from a poor background and I was able to bring myself up to an upper middle class lifestyle, and then my kids reap the fruit of my merit, and I teach them adequately, like I gave them advantages that I didn't have, making my kid financially literate by the age of 6, isn't that an advantage? And people will call it unfair, but hey, some people are born 6'4", some people are born 5'3". Advantages are always based on context. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspectives in the comments below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out on the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.